This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
Okay, Marv Rabbi Sai, Agun Erev Shabbos, Parshas Pekudei, Afreilach and Adar. For all you curmudgeons out there who enjoy being sad and sullen, unfortunately, the last opinion of when you have to start being happy begins today. So those who have been stalling, I know maybe some people, they don't like to be makbid on the Ben Ish Chai to start from Shabbos Mavarchim, and they certainly don't like to be makbid on starting Chodesh Shvat. And there are those who say it doesn't start until the second day of Adar. Okay, but here we are. This, unfortunately, now is the very sad obligation of being happy. So see what you could do to work on this very difficult mitzvah. And of course, you know, the Yushalmi writes that if somebody's in a desert island and he's not going to be able to lay in the Megillah on Yudalid Adar, you could already start laying the Megillah, if this is your only option, from Rosh Chodesh, Shenemar, V'hachodesh asher nepach lahem. So the whole month is kosher for Megillah. However, lechatchila, the Mishnah says, Megillah nikreis, b'yud aleph, b'yud beis, b'yud gimel, b'yud dalid, b'tezvav, Leipachos v'lo yoser. And Rashi mysteriously says, Pa'amim bazeh u'pa'amim bazeh. Sometimes on this one, and sometimes on that one. What does that mean? Sometimes on this one and sometimes on that one? Really? What is Rashi getting at? What would you think? You read it all of the days? And a very big question here is, what do you mean v'lo pachos v'lo yoser? Not less and not more. It should say not earlier and not later. So the Vilna Gaon says, "Ve'efshir de'isa b'gemara loy kishani nichtav ani nikra." I am not written the way I am read. Nichtav ani b'yud kei. I am written yud kei vav kei, and I am read aleph daled nun yud. Ula'olam haba nikra b'havaya, but in the future I will also be read Shem Havaya. And the Mirz Hashem, after Hashem is mamtik the dinim, b'ayemahu yiyah Hashem echad u'shma echad. So it comes out that the Shem Havaya is hidden and the Shem Adnos is begaloi. Fine. This is the meaning. Megillah, God is revealed. Nikres, it's read. The 11th and the 12th. When you add up number 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, you get 65. Megillah Nikres. God is revealed. How is God revealed? 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 65. The Shem Adnos. We can only say the Shem Adnos. We're not allowed to say the Shem Havaya. Megillah Nikres. We're only allowed to reveal God with 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. But not less and not more, not 10 and not 16. 10 and 16 is the Shem Havaya. You can't reveal the Shem Havaya. This is what Rashi means. Pa'amim bazeh. In Golos, the Shem Adnos. Pa'amim bazeh la'asud lavai b'Shem Havaya. That's the meaning of Rashi. So that's one level of understanding the words Megillah Nikres. God is revealed. How is God revealed? 65. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Comes the Shla HaKadosh, and the Shla says an interesting thing. He says, in Parshas Tetzavim, Megillah Nikres, Yud Aleph, Yud Beis, Yud Gimel, Yud Daled, Tetzvav, Lepozo, Yoser. Gematria Adnos, but not less and not more. Now listen to this. Only the smallest amount, which is Yud Aleph, which is the Vav and the Kei in Hashem. What's the smallest amount of the names of Hashem? Yud Kei is 15. That's 11. The biggest amount is Yud Kei is 15, so that's a bigger amount than Vav Kei. V'haminyan meruba tesvok min Yud Kei asher hifrid baneim Amalek ki yad al kes ka, which means like this. If you take What does it mean, loy pachos lo yoser? Only the small amount, which is 11 from Hashem's name, and the minyan meruba, which is 15 of Yud K. Asher hifrid beineam amalek ki yad al keska v'ha'im sa'is oila lamites hu arar haman. What does that mean? Like this. Between 11 and 15, you get 12, 13, and 14. Yichap? Loi pachos lo yoser. Between 11 and 15, you get 12, 13, and 14. That's lamites. That's arar. V'sham merumas haman amino eitz. So, again, the Shla is saying a similar remez, that we add up 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 is 65. But loy pachos lo yoser, don't take the middle letters, 12, 13, and 14, because that's lamites klala. But now I'm going to share with you something amazing from the Moscow edition of the Vilna Gaon. This should protect all Jews in Moscow and in the Ukraine. This is a ksav yad found in a library in Moscow. And here's how it goes. This is quoted by Rabbi David Kohen, who is one of the greatest Bekiyim in the various texts of the Gaon. He said, Megillah nikreis be'echad asar b'shnei azar v'arba v'chamisha asar. Meaning until now, it's going in general. Megillah nikreis. God is revealed in general through the Shem Adnos, but we don't say the Shem Pachos v'Yoser Havaya. No. This edition of the Gemara is saying that the Megillah is read 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 b'Shem Adnos. But the Megillah is not read Yud Aleph and for 10 and 16, which is Chavav. Why? This comes to teach that the Shem Havaya is not in the Megillah. Yichap? Megillah Nikres. The Megillah is read only with the Shem Adnos. It is not read with the Shem Havaya. And that we know to be the case because Hashem's name is not found in the Megillah. The question though is, neither is the Shem Adnos found in the Megillah. So, what do you mean Megillah Nikres b'Yud Aleph b'Yud Beis b'Yud Gimel b'Yud Av b'Tezvav Loi Pachos Lo Yoser? Not only is it not read with the Shem Havaya, it's not read with the Shem Adnos as well. Now I want to just go back for a moment, because the simple tradition here is Megillah Nikres. God is revealed b'Shem Adnos, and He's not revealed b'Shem Havaya. So Reb Eliyahu HaKohen of Izmir, the Baal Shevet Musar, he says based on that we could understand beautifully, a Jew often says daily, Shir HaMalois Mimamakim Karasicha Hashem, and there we say Yud Kei Vav Kei. Then we say Adoi Shem Shema B'Koili, and we say Aleph Dal Nun Yud. So why do we start off Mimamakim Karasicha Havaya Adnos Shema B'Koili? So Rabbi Eliyahu HaKohen of Izmir, he says incredibly, he heard from the Chachmei Ashkenaz that based on this tradition that God is revealed b'Shem Adnos, Yud Aleph Yud Beis Gimel Yud Al Tezvav, and He's not revealed b'Shem Havaya. So we say as follows. We say, Mimamakim, from the depths of my heart, in my thoughts, Mimam Karasicha, I call to you Yud Kei Vav Kei. From the depths of my heart, I call to you Shem Havaya. But Adoi Shem Shema B'Koili, when I produce a sound, a voice, that's the Shem Adnos. You ever notice that? Isn't that amazing? Now we have a revolutionary understanding. We say Shiram Halois Mimamakim Karasicha Hashem. From the Mamakim, from our Machshava, it's the Shem Havaya. But Adoi Shem Shema B'Koili, the Shem Adnos, is what's going to produce a voice. And then he says, to explain the rest of the Mizmar, Im avoinois tishmar ya, that in the Golos, where God's name is not complete, and not only can we say b'machshava havaya, but it's ka, then miyamoid. Miyamoid shu abina im abonim ki imcha slicha ki hi merachefes al baneha. Who could stand up without Hashem's full name? Kivisi Hashem b'shem Havaya. I hope to the Shem Havaya. I hope it will be Shalem. And then we say, Yachel Yisrael Hashem. God should hope for Hashem because the salvation of Jewish people will be dependent on the salvation of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. V'harbe imoy fedus. Vav Hey Rabbah. The Vav Hey will make God's name great again. So we say like this. Mimamakim krasicha Hashem. I call out to you in my thoughts with the Shem Havaya. Adnos Shema B'Kali, but I can only call him Shema. Tiana call down them. Im Avoinos Tishmar Ka, but in the Gauls for God's name is not complete. Mi Amoid Ki Imacha Sicha Ki Visi Hashem. I hope for the day that the Shem Havaya will be Shalem. Yachel Yisrael Hashem. Jewish people hope for the salvation that Hashem is saved Himself, because then Ve'harbe Imay Fadus, the Vav Hey will be increased. Ve'zehu Ve'hu Yiftas Yisrael. The Ve'hu, the Vav Hey of the Shem Havaya, and look at the words Ve'hu, the Hu, the Vav K, and the Aleph of Kisei will bring Padus for Klal Yisrael. Ve'hu Yiftas Yisrael. By the way, in the humble Sefer, the revealed and concealed, we bring the mystical interpretation of the Sama Rebbe. What's V'nahapoichu? V'nahapoichu, what turned around? It turned around. What's the it? The it is, Amalek took the Vav and the Hey, and they took the Aleph from Kisei. And we hope for the day, Ki Bachar Hashem B'Tzion Iva L'Maishavlai, that the Aleph will return to the case, and the Vav K will return to the Yud K. But in the meantime, not only did Amalek take it away, but they turned it into Hu, they flipped it around. So they made it Hey, Vav, they flipped around Hashem's letters, and Aleph. So what we're going to have to do is, V'nahapoich Hu, we're going to have to turn around the letters, Hey Vav, flip that around, Vav K, and then make the Aleph first. Anyway, back to the ranch, and that is, we're saying that the Megillah is not read Parshas v'Yosef with 10 and 16:26, but instead it's read with the Shem Adnos. Where is the Shem Adnos in the Megillah? Not only is there no Havai in the Megillah, there's no Shem Adnos in the Megillah. Says Rav David Kohen that when the Gra says the Megillah is read by Shem Adnos, you have to say that the Shem Havai is not in the Megillah, but the Shem Adnos is found in the Megillah. How's that? The Zohar says, in Esther Rabbah it says, Medrash Abba Gurion it says, that whenever it says Hamelech Stam in Megillas Esther, the Kavana is to the Melech, Malchei, Hamlochim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and Hamelech refers to God as the king, as Adoin Koil. As we're going to see, when we say God is Adoin Koil, that means we're His Avodim. And for His Avodim, He's the Melech. And that's why the Medrash Esther Rabbah says, Whenever it says La Melech, it's referring to God as well. Or, like we have in the Medrash Abba Gurion, and the Gra says, Zeh Shemi v'zeh Zichri. This is my name, and this is how I'm remembered. I am not written the way I'm read. I'm written, Yud Kei Vav Kei, I'm read Aleph Daled. Havaya refers to God's essence. Aleph Daled Nun Yud is referring to His Malchus, that He's Melech. Therefore He's called Aleph Daled Nun Yud. That refers to His Melucha. Because you don't usually refer to a king by his actual name. You don't call him by his name. Hey, Ronald. You say, Mr. President. You don't call, hey, how are you, Vladimir? You're having a good day today, Vladimir? No, you don't call him that. You call him, I don't know what you want to call him. L'chein nikra ba'alef daled nun yud kaviyachal. The Aleph Dal Yud is the Shem Malchus. The Noda Yehuda also says, Ki Shem Aleph Dal Moira Ki Adoin V'Akol Avodov V'Zeh Moira Al Malchusai. So in fact, we do say the Shem Adnos in the Megillah. HaMelech. When we say Melech, that refers to the Shem Adnos. Megillah Nikres, B'Yud Aleph, B'Yud Beis, B'Yud Gimel, B'Yud Aleph, Tesva. Now, the Maharal also offers another explanation why the Shem Adnos is most promulgated in the Megillah. The Maharal says, Ki ba'oiso izman lo hayu nisim v'nafloi sh'Hashem Yisrael mechadesh lahem. In the times of Purim, God did not bring about open miracles, shaloi b'teva, shaloi k'minhaga shaladam. God did not make anything openly miraculous. Ulefikach Hashem miyuchad b'dalet oisiois. Therefore, the designated name of 4 letters, V'nikra b'shem Adnos, Ki shem aksiva mimenu, Heim nisim v'neflois ba'olam. The written name is the name that God makes open miracles, but the name Aleph Daled is the name that Hashem conducts the world, B'derech HaTeva, like an Adonim, like a Moishel, who arranges things in an order. Therefore, in reference to Aleph Daled, it says, Adoin kol aretz, milifnei Adoin chuli aretz, Hashem Adoinenu ma'adishim chol ha'aretz. In reference, in the context of Adoin, we say Eretz. Because Ki Hashem hazeh, this name, Hushem Aleph Daled, by manig hateva. That's how God guides nature. Umibnei ki lo nasa kanes nigla, because there is no open miracle. Rak hakol hayban hagas olam. How could you mention the Shem Havaya in the Megillah? The Shem Havaya denotes God bringing open miracles. There are no open miracles in the Megillah. Instead, it's God pulling the strings behind the scene, which represent Hashem acting as Aleph Daled Nun Yud. So Megillah Nikres, the miracle of Purim, is revealed B'Yud Aleph, B'Yud Beis, B'Yud Gimel, B'Yud Dalet, B'Tesvav through the Shem Adnos. So basically, the name of the Megillah, the name of God that is revealed in the Megillah is Aleph Daled Nun Yud. By the way, this remez, Megillah Nikres, B'Yud Aleph, B'Yud Beis, B'Yud Gimel, B'Yud Dalet, B'Tesvav, equals 65, is not only from the Goin and the Shla, the Smichas Chachamim brings it, the Bris Kunas Oilam brings it, and as we know, the Shla HaKadosh teaches us a following principle. One day we should be zoicha to have something on this subject, a sefer on Chumash, connecting every parsha to the time of the year that it comes out. So we know many of them are obvious, right? Like Miketz and Vayigash is Chanukah, and so on. And the 3 weeks come out during Pinchas and Matos Maseh and Devarim, but there are always connections between the time of the year and the Parsha. And this year, Parshas Pekudei is one of the Parshas we read before Purim. And it struck me that this idea that the Megillah reveals the Shem Adnos is probably connected to the Adonim of the Mishkan. And in fact, the Chiddushei Harim says that the Adonim of the Mishkan are made that Hashem is Adoin Haaretz, to the Shem Adnos. The Chiddushei Harim says, Ma'as Adonim Hotzuchu Mishkan. And like we learned on Wednesday, the 100 Adonim represent, the Baal Turim says this, we didn't put the Baal Turim on the sheet, we should have, that the 100 Adonim correspond to 100 brachos b'chol yom. And the 100 brachos basically are blessings of God running the world, b'derech hateva. And just like the Adonim are the pillars of the Mishkan, the brachos are the foundation of Kedushas Yisrael. Adoin of the Mishkan is Miloshan Adnos. And through the brachos were made that Hashem is Adoin Ha'olam. And through our Meir brachos, sort of we bring HaKadosh Baruch Hu into our lives. That's our Mishkan. So it's interesting, I found another way that the Shem Adnos is represented by the Adonim, not only in the way the word sounds, but we know the Shem Adnos is Gematria 65, But if you take the letters Aleph, Daled, Nun, Yud, and you spell it out, Aleph, Lamed, Pei, Daled, Daled, Lamed, Daled, Nun, Nun, Vav, Nun, Yud, Yud, Vav, Daled, and then you take those letters and you spell out those letters, it's total of 35 letters. So the gematria of Adnos and the miloi de miloi of Adnos is another 35, is 100, total 100. So the 100 Adonim are mamish the Shem Adnos, because the Adonim are 100, which equals 65 plus the miloi de miloi of the Oisios Aleph Daled Nun Yud. So the name of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, which is revealed through Megillah Esther, the Megillah Nikres, B'Yud Aleph, B'Yud Beis, B'Yud Gimel, B'Yud Daled, B'Tes Vav, the name of God, which is promulgated through Megillah Esther, is likewise promulgated to the world with the Mea Adonim. So it comes out rather amazing. Haman clearly claimed that HaKadosh Baruch Hu does not pull the strings. So Haman was counteracting the Aleph, Daled, Nun, Yud. In fact, we know that Haman appears 54 times in the Megillah. And somebody asked me, and there are 54 words in Bimei Mordechai ve'Esther, and there are 54 letters in the Aseret Mei Haman, and somebody has been asking that they counted, it doesn't come out. According to the correct text, it all comes out. But that means Haman is counteracting the Shem Adnos. So therefore, to combat Haman, we give the Machzas HaShekel. What do we do with the Machzas HaShekel? We use it for the Adonim. So that's how the Machzas HaShekel counteracts Haman. And that which Megillas Esther accomplishes is complemented by the proclamation of the Mea Adonim in the Mishkan. And I want to wish everyone a Guten Chodesh and a wonderful Shabbos and Bracha V'Atzlacha. And Be'ez Hashem, hope we have good stuff coming up for Purim. And have an enjoyable Shabbos. Kol Tov. Baruch Tiyeh. Shabbat Shalom. Bye-bye.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.